too. So
You just say that because I was in a suit. That doesn't count.
you looked fantastic.
This was the first time ever I didn't look like a homeless person in the select meetings. Okay. Oh man, I'm on a giant. Hold on. This. Okay, I think it is.
Am I the only one that lost sound?
No, it's quiet here too.
Okay.
Girl, I can't hear anything at all.
I
I
don't.
have it pulled up.
Jacob
on
hit the self-destruct
YouTube.
button.
Yeah, I don't even see him in the participants list. I think he's gone.
Yeah, on the YouTube, it just has your name, John. And I mean, it's streaming, but it's just your name as a little box.
Heck, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It just like booted me out of it when I went live, but it's saying that. Did it kick everybody out?
Nope, just you, and you're Paul Bilyeu now.
Oh, Jesus.
There was a request to say, it's being live streamed.
Yeah. Okay. So much for being professional, but I think this is the best I'm going to get.
Well, now you're Paul Bilyeu, so.
You can probably rename yourself.
Yeah, when that happened and it booted me out, it's not giving me the option to rename anything. Oh, you know why? There we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is my first training with y'all. I am going to keep it pretty basic for the first one. I do have a request though. I'm going to get into as we go along with these over the next 4, 5, 6 months up until convention, which I'll at that point focus on training for your conventions in your county and precinct. I want y'all to think about before this meeting's over, maybe y'all give me a little bit of feedback on the end. Is there specific topics that you want to know about? Is there something I could do some research on? I know I'm going to be doing L2 here pretty quickly in the next couple of months. I want to do one on manning a booth. So when you have a booth and you're working, where to find booths, how to set up a booth, what to do at a booth, things like that to outreach in your community. We can do events. I don't think events as far as meetups is going to be a super lengthy topic, so I might be able to pull all of it into this one today. I also want to do one specifically on social media, where we do have somebody come in and talk. It probably won't be me. I am not the best at social media, but I do have somebody in mind who is fantastic at it. And I'll be talking to her and seeing if I can get her on here to talk about social media. So I would like to do that because social media can be a huge tool to helping connect to the community, reach out to a lot of people you're normally not going to be able to have a face-to-face to or a face-to-face with. So you'd be able to maybe bring them in. It'll be a good way to find candidates, stuff like that. So I think it's really important, especially we've gotten to the point now that pretty much all the major cities are affiliated. So from here on out, any of our new affiliates are going to be affiliates that are in rural part of towns. So out in the sticks, nobody around, get to shoot your guns in your backyard kind of people. So that presents a whole different set of problems as far as getting people into those parties, because when you get out into a very rural part of town or really rural part of the state, you run more into people who will vote, but people who just want to be left alone. People who don't want you showing up to their door, people who don't want to get involved in politics. So that is a whole different challenge of trying to get people like that in there, because they've gotten to the point they moved out there so people would leave them alone. The government would be more or less leaving them alone. So trying to pull them into a party and get them activated and moving in the right direction in that county makes it very difficult, because, you know, there's just not a lot of people who want to get involved in stuff out there. So we'll kind of move into that stuff too. So I just asked that during this, I'll give y'all probably 30 minutes worth of quick things, maybe 40 minutes at the most, but think about some topics you'd like. So stuff that I can start putting together for future meetings. And I'll leave at the end too, about 5-10 minutes where maybe we can talk about, because I know all, if not everybody in here is part of a affiliate CEC. So maybe we can take the last 5 or 10 minutes to have y'all talk to each other, because there might be stuff working in your county that other people haven't thought of, things I haven't thought of. And maybe we can go back and forth and ask each other some questions and give each other some feedback on things that are working in their county. So I'm not going to start off from the beginning as far as affiliating. Like I said, most of y'all are in here. I know, Robert, you're not on a CEC. You will be soon. And I've been harassing you for 6 months about exactly what the process is for that. So I don't think you need me to do more of harassing you on here. So we'll start off real easy. Like I said, I'm just going to give a brief overview of a couple of different topics, a couple of different things. And then later on in different ones, we can get more in depth on them as y'all feel it's necessary. What I find is something that's going to be important is not necessarily what y'all find is something to be important. So that's why I'd like some feedback from what y'all would like to learn about, because what I like to learn about is really irrelevant. It's all about helping y'all and helping y'all grow and train to become more effective in your counties. So I'm going to rely on y'all heavily for what y'all want to learn so that I can tailor these to y'all. Social media, I'll start off with some quick overviews of social media. At the state level, Twitter can be very helpful. There is a lot of things you can do on the state level with Twitter. I don't find it especially helpful in the county level, because it's very hard to narrow down who you're talking to on Twitter at a county level. There's not a way to do it. You can't filter out that you want to talk to the people in your community, your neighborhood. You can't do any of that stuff on Twitter. So it's almost useless as far as county growth goes. Now, what it can be used for is interactions with other people, which can become helpful if you get some followers in there that might be from out of state, out of your county, wherever. It might help in situations where you're trying to raise money, because just because I don't live in your county doesn't mean I don't see, hey man, on Twitter, they said that they're trying to get a booth at the local event. They're $50 short. I'll throw in the $50. They're not my county, but I know the work they're doing, so I'm willing to donate. So Twitter is really good for something like that. Not so great for actually trying to get people in your community. So I always recommend Facebook. I hate it. I think it's trash. I think Mark Zuckerberg is trash. I see your face, Amanda. That is the right reaction to this situation. The problem is there's not another social media tool that lets you narrow down in your community. So I'm in Waller County. I'm the chair of Waller County. I have my Facebook page. I hate my Facebook page because it's Facebook. But what I can do with my Facebook page is Waller County News, Waller County South News, Waller County North News, Waller County Patriots, which is a group here in Waller County. There wasn't as much overlap in them as I thought there would be, but there are a lot of overlaps in some of the gun rights, some of the parental rights, some of the taxes. They're really good on taxes. Now, things that we haven't agreed on is drugs, stuff like that, where legalization, criminalization, things of those. But I can narrow it down to I have an anti-tax group in my neighborhood or in my county. I have a gun group in my county. I can narrow it down to these places. I can join these groups and I can share my post with these groups, with the news groups and the happenings groups and the buy sell trades in the area. And I can focus specifically on neighborhoods as well. I can find neighborhoods in my counties, which I'm in a rural county. So we have two neighborhoods, my neighborhood and the neighborhood on the far north side of the county. So it's really easy for me to label neighborhoods. Amanda, you probably couldn't be able to do that in Harris County. But it is something that Facebook's lets you narrow down very specifically. So that really is your best bet. I hate it. I know it's terrible, but that's where you're going to find your most growth from. Once you join these groups, I encourage everybody to have a monthly meeting. I know you're not always able to have monthly meetings just because things come up, life comes up. You're just not going to be able to do it every month. I encourage everybody to do it as much as possible. I will tell you, our first meetup in Waller County was at a restaurant, a sports bar per se, family friendly. I didn't have a huge turnout. My next one was at a local brewery we had. A lot of people liked it. A couple people came out, not a huge turnout. Where I did have a really good turnout was we did one at like one of those all bowling, laser tag video games kind of places. I realized with that situation, if you're going to have your meetings, I chose weekends just because I think it's easier. But if you choose weekends, you have to realize most of your people are going to have parents, or not parents, are going to be parents with kids. So you need to plan accordingly. You're not going to have a huge turnout at a bar as compared to a restaurant with a playground outside. People are going to come. If they're going to come and their parents, they're going to want to be able to bring their kids. You'll be able to get mom and dad instead of just mom or dad. So if you have a place that you plan for kids, they'd be able to have activities or an outdoor space, a jungle gym, whatever it is, you will have better turnout on a weekend with something like that. To continue on that, be very mindful about dates and times. I'm not naming names, although I like to harp on this person a lot when I'm talking about this stuff. There was a county chair. He's no longer a county chair. And I had a friend who wanted to get involved in the party in his county. Nobody could get a hold of him. So I go through some stuff here and I make some calls and I finally get a hold of this guy. I said, hey man, I've got a couple of friends who want to get involved in the county party there. Tell me about your meetups. We do meetups every week or every month. I said, awesome. Where are your meetups? Well, we have our meetups every morning at the first Saturday of the month at the local library at 8 a.m. Okay. And how many people show up to this meeting at the local library on a Saturday at 8 a.m.? I'm usually just there by myself. No kidding. Best of intentions. He wanted to have meetings. He did not think about what would be convenient or bring in the most people. Most people don't want to go to a library. Most people don't want to go to a library on Saturday, and I can't think of anybody who wants to go to a library Saturday at 8 a.m. It was not a good location, and y'all need to think about those things when you do get into planning these events. Find something convenient for some people, somewhere somebody's going to want to go. Another fun one that I'd like to do, something that I've found helps bring people in, is when you have an event, post it on Facebook, share it to these groups in your community that you've become a part of. And what I always like to do is, hey, if I've never met you before, come find me, I'll buy you a beer. Wherever we're at, I'll buy you a beer, whatever you want. And I've had people take me up on it fairly regularly. I've had people take me up on it. They'll come out, they'll say, hey, I've never been here before. Great, I owe you a beer. Here you are. And they might come back again. Some of them don't come back again. It all depends. But if people are leaning towards coming and then you say, hey, I'll give you a free beer if you do come, it might just be that thing that sets them over to get them to come out. which is, I mean, anything helps to get people out there. Once you get people there, you can explain to them more about what the party is. You can explain to them, you know, what you need in the community or in the county party. So that's helpful as well. When you have these meetups, have a sign-up sheet. Have a sign-up sheet. Even if the sign-up sheet, like I can send you, reach out to me any way possible. If you don't have my phone number, just email me at waller@lptexas.com. Ask, most of the people in here probably have my phone number. If not, message me on, what's that?
.org.
Is it .org? Okay.
Mhm.
I just give everybody my business card. Here, let's see. It is waller@lptexas.org. We'll redirect it to me. And my actual email is, oh, that's what it is on my thing. You can also find me on Facebook at LPTexasWC. It doesn't really make a difference. But I can get you some templates for some different things. One of them being the sign-up sheet. Once you get these people in, you want to keep them in. The way to keep them in is keeping them informed. If you're having meetings and nobody knows about the next meeting, nobody's going to show up to the next meeting. There are two different services that are pretty big as far as the most popular ones when it comes to emailing. You have GMass, which I tried GMass. It is Google's mass email service. Was not particularly user friendly, but I know multiple people who that is their email of choice. I'm also very not tech savvy, so that might have something to do with it. Your second one, that is the one that I use, that I think is the easiest one to use, is going to be MailChimp. MailChimp has been very fantastic. I have had no real problems with them. It's all been pretty smooth with them. And it's really cool because once you send out your mass email with GMass or with MailChimp, it will give you the statistics on it. How many you sent out, how many successfully got there, how many were opened, when they were opened. It'll give you a time frame of hourly of, okay, you got 15 opens, 90% of them were within the first hour of coming. It'll give you click-through rate. So if you have an email or a web address in there to your website, it'll tell you how many people click through that link and went to your website based off of those emails. So that's really good things to know. And not only will it say how many people opened them, it'll tell you the people who opened them. So Robert opened it at 1 o'clock. So you'll be able to tell things like that. So you know who's getting them and you know who to reach out to if you want to try to touch base with these people again, because you've sent out 6 emails and they didn't open any of them, which either means they're deleting them or they're knocking to spam. And if they're knocking to spam, they're not going to get them. So reaching out to them might be a good thing to do there. Once you get the emails out, you start doing that, you're going to start planning your events. You've got that. I'd start looking into booths. Booths are everywhere. You can do local fairs. You can do local festivals. You can do farmers markets is another good place. Some of them won't let or political parties in, so you'll have to talk to them about that. But when you look at when you look at the farmers markets, what you're looking at is you're looking at a group of people who are doing it outside of the government. These are people who don't want to sell it to the stores. They don't want to sell it to, these different locations. They want to do it on their own. They want to do it outside of the typical distribution centers. They're usually small businesses. They are individual farms, stuff like that, where they're not particularly keen on the government getting involved in their business to begin with. So it allows you to find a extra, or not an extra, but it allows you to find a group of people to bring in. Another cool one while I'm on this of finding members, visit your local VFW. Military members who retired aren't exactly the most government-friendly people that I've seen. A lot of them are anti-war after they get out of the military. So it gives you a place to talk anti-war to people. But I think the most underutilized thing in every county is every single VFW has a bulletin board with all of your local organizations. So everybody wants to get new members. It doesn't matter if you're a political party, if you are a gun group, if you like to fly pigeons out in the middle of the woods. Every group wants new members. So what happens is these people will go in to the VFW, or they'll have a member at the VFW who will put up a flyer for their next meetup. Find those groups, find ones that overlap with you, show up to them. And just because you don't think they might overlap, they will. There will be groups that will overlap that you don't think of. The one that I like to kind of push as an example of that is CB radio guys. There are lots of CB radio guys, and the CB radio guys hate the government, hate them. It is like their own niche of like, these people have a giant mistrust of the government, which is why most of them have CB radios, and kind to try to move away from the typical technology for that kind of stuff. Another big group is preppers. Oh, preppers have a huge mistrust of the government. These are people who are spending their lives prepping against the fall of the government. They have a mistrust of them. They are preparing for them to fall. Paramilitary groups would probably be another one. I don't know that I would necessarily try to show up to one of their meetings uninvited. That's probably not the best bet, but also probably because 90% of those people are feds anyways. So you might meet one or two nice people. They were probably feds when you talk to them. So look into that kind of stuff. Think outside of the box. Find out who these people are and what makes them tick, because you will find overlaps with a lot of these groups. Just even if it's a small overlap, that's what I always like to say is you could find the most left-wing and right-wing Republican and Democrat groups. You will have an overlap with them. And while you may not agree with them on everything, what you agree with them on is something you can work with them with. When you look at a coalition group, you are not adopting the beliefs of that coalition group. You are adopting that belief of the coalition group. So while you might be up for legalization, there's going to be legalization groups in your county. There's going to be Democrats in your county who are for legalization. They're also going to be for a lot of terrible things, but you don't want to support them on those terrible things, and you don't want their support and when it comes to that, but you want their support on legalization. So it's okay to reach out to these overlapping groups, even if you agree with them on 2% of the things, to work with them on 2% of the things. Because when you're talking to a group about whatever the topic is, and you have 50 libertarians in your county, and they have 50 of whatever they are in the county, and somebody else has 50, but you can put together a coalition of 300 active members for legalization of marijuana or decriminalization of marijuana. When you get to the point that you have enough of those people who are willing to be active against the legalization and decriminalization, that's a group you can take to the local sheriff's office, especially in a rural town. The sheriffs in Texas have very little to no oversight from anybody except for the governor and the voters. That's it. When you show them that the voters are going to throw them out of office if they don't do it, and you have the numbers, they'll do it. Let's see. Back to boosts. Okay, I started on boosts and then I lost boosts. For boosts, what I always suggest, get you a pop-up, get you some kind of reading material, whether that be trifolds. LP Texas will usually have some trifolds. If you can reach out to some people within LP Texas, they can probably get you some trifolds. So you can reach out. Trifolds. I do what I always like to do. So I had for $150, I had 2 cornhole boards made. They have my county logo on them, and I put them out in front of my booth. And before the booth, I run to the grocery store and I buy 2 things. I buy bags of candy and I buy bottles of water. And what I do with that stuff is for the cornholes, put out a basket of candy, you throw it into the cornhole hole, you get some candy. Kids come. Where kids go, parents go. Free water is fantastic, especially if you keep it cold during the summer. We had a local booth here for the neighborhood they were doing a chili cook-off, and it was like August, and it was hot, and people were selling bottles of water for like $4 a pop. Okay, come over here and talk to me, have a conversation with me for 30 seconds. Let me give you my spiel. I'll give you a free bottle of water. That's it. Based off of the free candy and the free bottle of water, we were out there for 2 hours and we got 36 contacts in the count in the neighborhood for that one event that cost us $20. So for $20, I got 36 contacts, so roughly 50 cents. That is a fantastic acquisition rate for the party. So don't think anything's too small. Don't think anything's too big. One person you find at a small event might be the chair that replaces you, might be the guy who shows up to every single city council member or meeting and gives you all the notes to help you out. Just because it's small doesn't mean you can't find somebody. So don't necessarily discount things like that. I have files. I'll have to find the files, but I do have files for a banner. The banner one is easy. I can give y'all files for banners to adopt them to your county. I've got barcodes or QR codes I can send out that have Canva links that you can click on. And then from the Canva links, you can change the county name. You'll have it as a large file you download. You can print it up on a 3x5 banner. And I have a pop-up one that has the QR codes to the county on it. It has 5 or 6 stances of things we believe in, and I put it up in front. People come by, they can see, hey, this is what they believe in. Here's a QR code. It'll take you to our website. You can check out everything there. And between the 2 of them, I paid out of pocket for my banners. It cost me, watch Office Depot. It cost me $117 for the pair of banners. It was very reasonable. Office Depot runs, if you catch them, they'll run anywhere from a 20 to 40% off their printed banners. So it's really pretty affordable if you're going to do it that way, especially in a new county, in a small county. You're not going to have a lot of money. You're probably going to have no money. So for the first little while, everything you have is going to be coming out of pocket. So it is a good way to be able to get yourself stuff for booths without having to spend a ton of money on that stuff. I think I've covered just about everything that I have for today. I've got booths. We did social media, reaching out to people, events, stuff like that. Feel free at this point to unmute yourselves if you have any questions.
Just a suggestion with for the booths. Joe Roberts helped put together the Booth in the Box program for around many of the major cities. If you want to,
yeah, so there are Booth in a Boxes. I completely forgot LP Texas to put that out. Every area has one. I don't know if Billy got one in Harris, but I know Scott here in Fort Bend has one for this area. I
kind of cover the Harris area.
Okay, you do cover the Harris area with yours.
Anyone just contact me.
Yeah, he came and picked it up in my house.
Yeah. Chrissy Ford.
He picked part of it up for your house because I still have part of it in the back of my car.
Yeah, Chrissy Ford was actually the one who spearheaded that, so that's where credit's due. But we have 5 of them around the state. One's in Lubbock, one is in Dallas, one is in San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. JR's on the call, I think. We have one with Scott in Fort Bend County, so that covers the greater Houston area. So Robert, if you come on board, that's probably going to be where you meet up. And then we have one slated to be distributed in East Texas, in Rusk County, because we have a good number of counties there. We haven't managed to make the connection and get it deposited out there. But so basically, unless you're in the far reaches of West Texas, and we only have one county that is, way out west right now. But even if you're in that Midland, Odessa, Amarillo corridor right there, that north-south corridor, Lubbock's right there in the middle. So we tried to center them where they could be easily found. Now, in the Booth in the Box, it does have a table, it does have a canopy, it does have some LP Texas literature. It has the world's smallest political quiz, which is a great way to help people identify their libertarian leanings if they have any. Oh, I didn't know I'm a libertarian. So I'm trying to think what else is included in there, but it's basically a one-stop shop. Now, it isn't county branded, obviously. It's LP, it's branded for the Libertarian Party of Texas. So what Jacob said about getting some county specific things, maybe a nice addition to that. But if you're just wanting to, again, if you're just wanting to have that there, it's available for any county executive committee to use. So just reach out to affiliate team at lptexas.org if you're not sure where yours is. I was just out of the Parker County Peach Festival yesterday. That's Weatherford area, west of Fort Worth, and right there in the middle of the festival is a booth for Republican women. Yeah, whatever their organization's called, and they had their booth right there. So as long as they allow political organizations, now some won't allow some events just say no political organizations are allowed at all. So that's one thing you'll need to check. But if so, there's no reason not to just set something up and spend a few hours out there just meeting people from the area. And so it's like I said, it's already paid for, it's taken care of, so you won't have to worry. The only cost you'll have is incurs driving out there to pick it up wherever it is, or to meet somebody along the way.
All right, two quick comments. The first thing is about the events that don't allow political organizations. I would encourage you, if you hear that back, to not take your first no. I know that there have been places where Denton County has tried to booth and gotten a no because their policy or their 401c3 status they felt was threatened by supporting candidates. And if that's the case you run into, it might be a good idea to push back once and just let them know you're not a candidate and you can't affect 501c3 status, and unless you're promoting specific candidates, and we are more than capable of putting out a booth without promoting specific candidates. So that may be one situation where they aren't aware of the difference in a candidate booth and a political organization, and you are actually able to booth. The other thing I was going to say is it was mentioned earlier how in the very beginning of a rural county you're probably going to be paying for things out of pocket, which is actually the reality of things. But I would very much encourage you to make it high on your priority list to get $100 together, even if you just pass the bucket around and everybody throws in a 20, and start a bank account. I cannot tell you the number of rural counties I have come upon who tell me they've been a rural county and they've been out there for a little while. They have 5 members and they tell me they can't get any donations. And I say, okay, well, if I wanted to donate to your county right now, where would I go? And they say, well, we don't really have anything set up for payment processor. I say, okay, that's fine. I can help you with that. Do you have a bank account set up? And they say no. And what I find out through talking to them is they're in this endless chicken and egg situation where they never set up a bank account because they don't have donations, and they never get donations because they never set up the bank account. And so transferring that responsibility off of the shoulders of just the county chair throwing in money to a bank account, even one that doesn't have much money, can't actually enable you to start building that money. So 2 comments I had.
Does anybody else have any questions or have anything they'd like to know, share things that are happening in their county that is working very well, anything like that?
Actually, one other thing I wanted to just bring up is you talked about reaching on local social media, and that's great. Perhaps I could address the fact that LP Texas has an events calendar on lptexas.org, so that people aren't our people are trying to find you. We talked about ways to find people, to go out and find people. So let's assume somebody's out there that said, I'm tired of Republicans, I'm tired of the Democrats, I just want to be free. Heard about these libertarians. Do we have a libertarian affiliate in our county? The first place they're going to go, Google Libertarian Party, and maybe Libertarian Party Texas. So maybe we could talk about how to get your events on the events calendar of LP Texas, so someone coming through that route can find out about them.
Yes. So two things on that. So first, one of the groups I didn't mention that I suggest for you to follow on your Facebook page is the Texas Libertarians page. It is run by LP Texas. So if you have an event, take your event, share it to them. They will post it. They're very good about getting things. They're very good about getting things posted or approved on there. It does need approval for them to post, but they are very good about doing it for the counties at a pretty quick pace. You'd have John. Who do you need to send the events to? I know who it used to be, but I'm not sure who it is now to get them posted on the calendar.
Unless things have changed, and they may be soon because we're switching websites, but there is a form on lptex.org, and I'm trying to pull it up actually
Goes to
now.
Kyle.
Does it
Yeah,
go to-
Kyle's ultimately who it
Kyle
goes
Russell.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it was Ford at one point, right? Who was it? It used to be somebody else. I don't remember. It's been a
It
while.
might have been Paul Bilyeu at one point.
Yeah, but I know that it is Kyle Russell.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is now.
Kyle Russell. Gotcha. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions at all? Anything they'd
I'm
like
about
to
to-
share?
I'm about to drop in the chat the link to the form that you can go to. And if you fill out something on there, it will go to whoever it needs to go to at the time. And then they will get it up. So
By the way, I also want to add that here in Dallas County, one thing that's been very effective for us is meetup.com. It may or may not work in, where you're at, Jacob, but a lot of people I would say we get more people, new people finding out about us and coming to our events through Meetup than we do through Facebook or other social media, because it's more of a
Interesting.
general. And so people are already there looking for things to do.
Yeah.
In other words,
I have a feeling that would be very good in a place like Dallas or Harris or San Antonio or Austin. I don't know. I'd be interested to see how that would work in a very small rural community. Jeff, you got your hand up. You have a question or a comment?
Yeah, so a couple of things in both directions. One as a county chair and one as social media coordinator for LP Texas. What John said sounded really familiar as far as sort of the loop when he was talking about the bank account and all that. We have a bank account, but we don't get donations, and part of that is we don't have a donation link on our website. So one of the things that I would ask and suggest is kind of more support for the counties as far as the websites, and maybe if there's some sort of go-to we can have for that, where it's like, if we need to, even if you have a website that exists, we can help you revamp it, kind of make it, into this century. Because our website, kind of looks like it was made in 1988, because I think that's about when it was. And our web guy who does things on that kind of goes in and crosses things out and types things, and it just doesn't look very professional and welcoming, and it doesn't have a donation link. And I realize I've dropped the ball in some ways and not doing more on it by now. I've put myself into a lot of other things and haven't focused on that, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I know I'm probably not the only one who has similar issues. Either people don't have a website at all, or they just have things they want to do on it that they don't have set up, and so need some help with that. And I also just wanted to say, in switching hats, that if y'all have Facebook and Twitter accounts for your counties that you've got events or things going on and you're not really active on it, I'd say if you have those accounts in place, or, it's usually not that hard to set them up, be more active on those and let me know, and I'll be happy to, retweet and share those things on the LP Texas pages as well, because, I look for all the time. I've got like things set up to notify me when the counties tweet things and stuff, and I don't see a lot of that. So, and, some counties, it's like they will, but then it'll be 2 months before the next thing comes out. So I would say that if we're more active on those at the county level, I can then sort of amplify that at the state level and get those events out. I've been trying to look for them on Discord and other places, but the more of that y'all can do and let me know about, then we can get that out to everybody.
I will, to build on that, I do suggest a website. There are a lot of easy places where it's cheap. You can, I think I pay for my website $25 a year to keep up the website. And then there's different companies will have different places where you can it'll help you build them. It'll give you templates and stuff like that. I actually made a contact not too long ago, actually has become a really good friend, who is fantastic at building websites. My website just got finished. If y'all want to go check it out, it's lptexaswc.org. I just finished it. It got uploaded yesterday for the new website. It looks fantastic. So if anybody does have any questions or needs some help with something like that, do reach out to me. I have a couple of different contacts I can push you to who can walk you through it. I'm not the person. And I know Kyle is probably pretty good at that, but I also know Kyle is extremely, extremely busy. So I do have some friends inside and outside the LP who could help you with some of that stuff. Amanda, what you got? Can't hear you.
I was just gonna say, like, piggybacking off of what Jeff said as the comms stuff, if you're not posting the events and stuff like that because you can't have a pretty graphic, I don't mind making them. So that's kind of part of my job in the comms aspect of things. So
Perfect.
don't expect it in like 20 minutes, ask me a little bit ahead of time.
She does turn them around in 22 minutes. So give her that extra 2 minutes. She'll be perfect.
Probably.
Joe, what do you got? Nope, can't hear you.
Yeah, say that like it's a bad thing.
There you
go. All right. I was just thinking, since Jeff spoke up and he's in Aggie land, and we've got RJ who's in Baylor territory, and we've got a lot of, in our more rural counties, we do have colleges out there, like whether it's Amarillo College, Weatherford College, Navarro College. A lot of these smaller counties have either community colleges or two-year colleges, what have you. I wondered if Jeff, I know that in the past they've reached out to A&M, and I just, colleges and universities, even if the students don't necessarily live and aren't registered in your county, they can definitely be active participants. And if they're libertarian minded, they're going to be libertarian activists as well. That's where you get your youth and energy. I didn't know if Jeff could comment on, what's gone on in the past with A&M and what's going on now, or just to kind of hit that up for, because that definitely is a source of, young, energetic people who are, willing to, who have discretionary time to donate to contribute to the cause. So
I will say I have been trying to get on to my local campus. We have Prairie View A&M out here, and I have contacted about anybody and everybody I can think of for the last year and a half and not had a single response from anybody. I'm not giving up. I encourage you to continue to harass those people like I currently am. So just because you don't hear back immediately doesn't mean you won't hear back. So keep bothering them.
You know who really wants a free beer? College kids.
College kids. Make sure they're 21 for the love of God. But yes, college kids. Please don't let me find the local chair of the LP has been arrested for providing alcohol to minors. Please don't let me find that, guys.
As long as they're 18, why do we have to pay attention to those other laws?
Or in the case of the Aggies for Liberty group, they've been successful getting people who want to take pictures with the giant joint. So they've brought that around to different things, trying to get signatures for a decriminalization petition.
If you're any good at paper mache, build you a giant joint. That would probably go over very well in every single college campus across America.
Man, it ends up being the most popular picture, like in the student newspaper at A&M. The battalion put that picture in there. So they've been good. They're the one media outlet that actually pays any attention to libertarians at all, is the battalion. So they were the ones that did the write-up when Mark Kibitz came to town.
Very nice. RJ, what do you got?
Hey everybody. So just a few comments to kind of piggybacking off of what others said. When it comes to meetings as well, I know we want to try to bring in new people as well, but I know I'm not the only one who can speak on this, but getting active, even members of your county party, it sometimes feels like herding sheep whenever trying to schedule meetings and social events. So what I've really learned from doing is I have my core, my little core that I know that they'll try their darndest to make their schedule work around a meeting, whether it's in an evening on a weekday or on a weekend. But reach out to those more dormant members, or if you have a friend or someone that you're trying to bring in, say, hey, when can you meet? And try to get them to do it. So like you mentioned at the very beginning, Jacob, was like a 8 o'clock Saturday on a library. It's like, I don't know about that, Chief. But if they're like, hey, I can only do weekends because of work, or I can only do weekdays for whatever reason, then you can narrow it down that. And like what I normally try to do is I also give them options, and like, if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, which one would work best for you? And then what the majority say, that's the one I kind of go with. And we just had it wasn't a business meeting, even though our business meeting the last time was at a Rosa's on a Tuesday evening. We had like, I think 90%, we don't have very many members, but like 90% of our affiliated members with us. And then this social event, we actually ran out of space because people invited friends and we had to push tables together and stuff. So it was a really awesome thing to see. So what I suggest is trying to reach out to those that don't show up all the time, because if you set a time and they're like, oh, I can't because I have this. Okay, well then when are you free? And we'll make it work for you. And then you'll have those more that active core people that you know are going to show up. So it's not going to just be you and one person or you alone, you know. And Office Depot too. Sorry, I'm fighting a cough. Like always, Office Depot is a great asset as well. But if you have a local print shop, that is, I think, a great way, because one, they actually might be a little bit cheaper, and if they're not, it's not the end of the world, because they're local. You get to talk to somebody, and I've actually made some good connections with one of the local print shops here, because they've helped us now with a banner. They've made some T-shirts, and they actually helped make the yard signs for when I just ran for city council. And so they know me by name now, and I know whenever we need to order more stuff, I know exactly who to hit up. And I know maybe one of these days, if I buy in bulk, they'll knock off a little bit. But if not, like Amanda just said in the chat, you're helping a local business. So it's like a win-win kind of situation. And lastly, and then I have to mute myself and cough for like 5 minutes, is we have not touched Baylor. It's a giant task, and I don't know if I have any people that are willing to put in that work, but it is definitely something that I have thought about doing. Right now we don't have any connections with it. We don't have any employees, or we don't know of a like Jeff mentioned in Haggis for Liberty. I don't think there is one at Baylor. Maybe there is. I think there used to be, but it might have died out over the last couple of years. But it's definitely something that we would hope to try to dive into in this next year. So as we lead up to a presidential election in 2024.
Robert, Colorado County. I saw you had your hand raised a second ago. Did you have something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Well, since RJ brought that up about the campuses again, and it may have been touched on, I just missed it, is that reaching out, if you are in an area where there is one of these big campuses, is, doing outreach there. You may be limited on the number of folks that are going to be operating and active in your county, but if you can, that'll be able to vote in your county, but if you can get them engaged and they're interested in that place, and they can see how your affiliate is working, is those would be the people to send back to the affiliates in existence wherever they're from, or send them off to try and start ones back where they come from. So
Absolutely.
none of it's lost ground. Anybody you can get interested and working on it. I know a few, actually I'm a Baylor alumni, and I know a few that are around there. And I can't imagine there's not like a Young Americans for Liberty, or even a libertarian, Baylor libertarian organization on campus. I'd be surprised.
I'll
I
look
will,
into it.
to speak to that, I will tell you right now that there's a organization. It is a libertarian group. I know Young Americans for Liberty have kind of gone in a different direction than a lot of the libertarians would like. But I do know that the National Party is working with a new organization to start trying to put together libertarian groups, organizations onto college campuses. I can't think of what the guy's name is. I had a conversation with him not that long ago, but they are currently working on that. I think
Teddy.
as of Teddy, who said
Yeah, Teddy G.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, it is Teddy. I want to say right now, I think they have 12 or 13 organizations on college campuses across the U.S. It just got started back up. It kind of died during COVID. So it's starting back up basically from the ground floor. Teddy is working his butt off on that. I've had a couple conversations with him. So hopefully here in the next year or two, you will see this thing blow up, and you will have a lot of college campuses in your area that you will be able to work with because of this organization. What you got, Amanda?
I was just going to say that if you have the time, most colleges have like free speech areas that whoever is allowed to go and hang out in the quad and talk, because we did a little bit of stuff at SFA, and there's like a cult in the Nacogdoches area that goes down there and does really weird stuff, but they let you do what you need to do, and that might be a good way to, not the cult people, but get people interested. If you find out about those like free speech areas that they just let anybody go to.
Wait, are you telling me that this isn't a cult? What did I join then?
Well,
Oh,
not a non-religious cult. We're just
Like
a
the-
political cult.
I like
Gotcha.
those, I
That
like
checks
those,
out.
I like those 3 square foot free speech areas on university campuses.
Well, and I know at
Freedom of
SFA it
exchange of ideas
actually.
in this.
and
Where's
it-
my safe space?
Listen, at SFA, it actually is like a rather large like area, like and all of that, and all the kids walk through there. But you have to be physically look a certain way to get people to come to your table,
Or a giant paper mache joint. We've
I mean,
established that.
yes, I will. I'm going to
That
learn
was
how to make a
established.
giant paper mache joint now. That's what I'm going to Google.
All right, I think we are right at an hour. I'm gonna see if anybody else has anything. If not, I'm gonna let y'all go and let y'all have a good rest of your Sunday since I wasted an hour of it. Does anybody have anything else? It does not look like it. Okay, so if anybody needs anything, reach out to me. I'm on Discord. You can get through my website. Like I said earlier, you can get to me through waller@lptexas.org. Most of y'all have my phone numbers. If not, hit me up on Discord. I'll give you my phone number. I'm not that worried about it. Other than that, I guess good luck in the next month to our next one, and have a great rest of your Sundays.
Thanks, Jacob.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Mike.